Hi, I'm going to discuss my behavior change project, which was with a 15-year-old high school student who takes dance movement classes on Saturdays at a local dance studio that is integrated for students with and without disabilities. It was found that mobility and navigational accuracy through the use of her powered wheelchair would be the problem area that we were focusing on. Some of the research that I had found had some really great quotes that I wanted to start off speaking about today, such as the fact that mobility is essential to our daily lives. Independent mobility is a skill that must be learned and gained through practice and experience. As infants, we learn to walk by trial and error. Through this trial and error, we learn to navigate our environment properly to prevent harm to others and ourselves. Moving through our environment is how we connect both physical and cognitively to our surroundings. Cognitive and psychosocial development is therefore affected by the ability to move, and that was found through Fernandez at Home and Ham in 2006 and 2013, and I just thought was really powerful in connecting to my project. We decided to title navigational accuracy as the exact skill that we were working on, and that has been operationally defined as being able to enter and exit a room and turning to the right and left within a tight space without any incidents or assistance. And we define incidents as the collision with walls and objects, as well as a collision with self or others. While using the power wheelchair, any of these incidences could occur, meaning hitting the wall, getting too close to the wall, tapping her toe on the wall, or getting too close to someone else. So in the program, we worked together on a single subject reversal AB design. The initial baseline data was taken for 5 sessions. It was followed by treatment data for 5 sessions, with a return to baseline for 5 sessions, and then a return to treatment for 5 sessions. All of these sessions were done at the same location at the student's dance studio, with the same aid that she uses, as well as her mother, and the same 3 dance teachers that she is used to. So during the baseline phase, the client was asked to perform her normal dance class as the observers took data, and the IOA observers were the 3 dance teachers, the aide, and the mother. The client was asked to enter and exit the room through observation, as she normally would to enter her ballet class. During that class, she was asked to perform tasks that are normally asked of other children in the room, and the observers just marked if there were any incidents, say if she got too close to the ballet wall, the ballet bar, or the wall, or if she got too close to one of the other students, or if a teacher had to intervene and help use the joystick in order to get her into the correct position. During the intervention phase, to prevent these incidences, the client was asked to follow colored tape that was placed on the floor in between the pathway of the wall and the door frame, and where she needed to be as she navigated into the room. There was also a square tape line put onto the floor in the space that she needed to be in for turning right and left, so that it acted as a guide for her as she was moving around this space. She was also given a reinforcement verbally from her dance teacher, as well as a Frozen sticker, which was identified as one of her favorite movies and anything that she really liked to do because she collected those stickers. The results showed that during the first baseline, the incidence or assistance was high. In the first intervention, the incidence and or assistance dropped. It rose again during the second baseline, and then it finally leveled out during the final intervention. It does show that the use of the DRO and extinction increased the percentage of incidents in navigational accuracy, and this supports and connects to the previous research on interventions and training for individuals who use power wheelchairs. Although there was a decrease in this incidence for the client, there were several limitations that were present during this study. The first is generalization. So it was found during the first intervention phase that the client only uses the power wheelchair in specific environments. So there are 2 specific environments they are used in, such as dance class or in her choir class in school. At other areas of her mobility use, she either uses a walker or she is guided with a gait belt through her aide or a parent. So that kind of puts a hinder on generalization, and then it also is generalization is also hindered due to the fact that adding colored tape to the floor in other environments might not be effective or conducive to that type of floor, or it may be in a public space where that is not allowed. It did work for the purpose of preventing incidences in the dance classroom, which is what the mother first identified with during our initial interview. But again, for generalization, it may not be the best intervention to help navigational accuracy. The other limitation that I slightly touched on was the inconsistent use of the power wheelchair by the client. So it is only used in specific environments, and it is not something that is always practiced because she is normally using her walker or the assisted gait belt. So it kind of hinders the practice of using her chair. So each time she gets in the chair, it's almost like relearning it or going back a few steps before she gets the hang of it each time. And again, this was not brought up in the initial interviews, so it was not something that was even thought about until the first intervention phase. And the last limitation that presented itself was the wheelchair was actually defective or had been broken. The joystick would slip off in the middle of the client's turn, and it would fall to the ground, so that then the teacher had to actually walk over, pick it up, and then help the client finish her turn or finish entering or exiting the room. So a defective chair really put some limitations on the not on the assistance level needed for the client, because she could not reach down and pick up that joystick. Again, someone else had to do that and help her out. So they did have to provide that assistance, even though we didn't like them to do that in that case. It was something that was really needed. And it really caused a pause. So if a teacher came over and had to put the joystick and the student was in the middle of a turn, she almost had to be reset and then start the whole thing again. So this pause kind of took her back and made her really have to rethink what she was doing within the process. It was successful for this particular behavior project plan, but again, generalization is something that would needed to be further researched and implemented for the child to be able to use that power wheelchair in other environments and really have a good, strong navigational accuracy. I look forward to hearing what everyone else worked through, and I hope all of your projects were successes.